Yeah. Born and raised in New York, and there is grass. There is grass here, just FYI. But born and raised in the concrete jungle, right?
Yeah.
And I really don't know anything different. Every time I tried to move when I was in corporate, they gave me more money to stay or another promotion. So I've been here my whole life, and I think there's so many benefits to growing up in a city like this, right? I was a New York inner city kid, rode the train many times for many, many years of my life. And there's parts of that that really hardened me up in a great way, right?
Mhm.
I was in sales. I was in business to business sales, and my clients were all men. Everybody in corporate was all men. I was rarely, I was really the only woman of color in my whole org, and almost always the only woman of color at the table. And so while I used to think that that was something that would worked against me, I finally realized toward the end of my corporate career that it was something that worked for me when I really leaned into it.
Hold that thought for a minute. You talked about what's the Latino community like in New York? I don't know much about New York. I have some friends
Good
that are
question.
from there, and I mean, they live, die New York. And I mean, I'm like, what is the catch here? Like, you're now in Cleveland, but you're rocking New York like it's the last planet on the earth. I mean, what's the connection with culture
Yeah.
ties to New York? And you said you've been there. That's all you know. What is it that keeps? What is it that makes individuals from New York so determined to succeed?
Yeah. Well, it is a kind of like a dog eat dog kind of environment. But I'll say this, what I understood, what I didn't appreciate about the culture of New York, which I appreciated later in my life, because when I worked in corporate sales, we worked remotely. So I've been in a remote environment since like 2006.
Mhm.
And so I would travel and meet a lot of different people, Latinos, Black, whatever, everywhere across the country. And I would always gravitate to somebody of color, right? Because that's me. And we were in a mainly white environment. And what I appreciated was that, see, I grew up in Brooklyn. And in Brooklyn at the time, it was like white, Black, Puerto Rican, and if you were some other Hispanic, you still said you were Puerto Rican back then. Now everybody's kind of repping wherever they come from, which is beautiful. But I mean, there will be photos of me as a child with everybody.
Right.
And so I think I didn't really appreciate that until I started meeting other people from other places and really understanding how some of these larger cities, like LA, they're still extremely segregated,
Hmm.
which I really didn't appreciate when I was younger. I just felt that's all I knew, right? So in New York, it's like you're Haitian, you're repping Haiti. You're Puerto Rican, you're repping Puerto Rico. You're white, you're repping whatever you are. And so that was my thought process. It's like just be proud of who you are and then just love others as human beings. So it's a combination of the streets of New York as well as my household. And so I grew up in like the party house. My parents, who are still together over 50 years, loved everybody. The doors were open. Come in, let's party, let's hang out. It didn't matter what color you were, it didn't matter who you loved, just come in. They welcomed everybody. So I think it's that combination that really just has me falling in love with people and becoming a coach